We've been doing a lot with F naturals and F sharps lately. So I want to practice alternating between F sharps and Ds at a faster rate of speed. So you can see that our first two notes are going to be F sharps, and then we're going to go down to Ds, F sharps, Ds. Let me demonstrate first. So when you pick up the F sharp, leave it hovering over the string so it can land easily again. If you bring your fingers really far away, it's harder to get them to land quickly. Now set up your F sharp and let's try it out. I'm going to say 3 and 4 and, so you know exactly how fast I'm going to go. 3 and 4 and. Good. Let's do that again and let's repeat this set of notes. So we'll do that 2 times each. 3 and 4 and. Again. Good job. You might notice that now I've changed our F sharp to F natural. We're going to do the same thing but with F natural. So remember that we have to split that distance between the E and the F sharp tape exactly in half. I do leave my E finger down when I am playing the F natural. So here we are, F, F, D, D. 3 and 4 and. That one might be a little trickier to land and keep the fingers close together. Try to have them touching each other for violins and violas when you pick them up, or spaced similar to where it has to land if you're a cello or a bass and you're picking them up and putting them down. Here we are again, 3 and 4 and. Let's do it 2 times in a row now. Set that F natural, check if it's exactly halfway. 3 and 4 and. If you're having trouble landing your F natural accurately, grab a pencil and mark that distance between your E and your F sharp tape exactly in half. The pencil lead will catch the light and you'll be able to see it and land your finger more easily. Now we're going to play the notes on the chart again, and we're going to play both sets with F sharps, and then we're going to take a repeat right away and do both sets with F natural, so we can practice transitioning between them. So get set up for the F sharp, put your bow on the string, 3 and 4 and. Change to natural. Now you know how that's going to work. Let's do that again. The bow is still moving pretty fast, so try to use a smaller amount of bow to help you keep up. Okay, we're going to start with an F sharp, 3 and 4 and. Now natural. Now we're going to be working on Jazz in D. If you haven't already downloaded the music, go into the folder and download Jazz in D Part 1 for your instrument. Beware, there are 3 parts to choose from for each instrument, so make sure you have Part 1 so we're all playing the same notes. Look at the very beginning of Jazz in D and look right next to your clef. You're going to notice that we have 2 sharps in the key signature. So when the sharps are placed next to the clef, that is called a key signature. The key signature tells you which notes to play as sharps and naturals, and then eventually flats once we learn about those. So the first sharp is F sharp. So F sharp is always the first one they place, And C sharp is always going to be the second sharp. They'll never mix those two up. So if there's ever two sharps in the key signature, you can count on them being F sharp and C sharp. Now find the third line of Jazz in D. We just talked about there being an F sharp in the key signature, but you can see that right next to the F at measure 9, they put a natural. The natural sign is good for both of the sets of Fs in that measure. And then the bar line comes in, or the measure ends, and it would have returned to F sharp, but they used F natural again. So this is going to sound similar to what we practiced earlier. So I'm setting up my F natural, and it does F, F, D, D, F, F, D, D. Let me demonstrate. And it would do it 2 more times. Now look at the next measure. They did not use the natural sign. So this note returns to F sharp. And it stays F sharp till the end of the line because they did not bring the natural back in. This is the area we're going to try playing next. So now we're at measure 9. We're going to set up our F natural, get our bow on the string, and we're going to try to play this entire line. Okay, so it's F naturals and Ds alternating, and then eventually it changes to F sharps and Ds. 3 and 4 and. F natural again. Here comes F sharp. If we went on to the next line, you might notice that it changed back to F natural. If your brain forgot to switch to the F sharp in the third measure, take a pencil and mark it in your music. This is how I mark it in my music. I put a sharp right above that note really obnoxiously so that my eyes can see it when I play. And then my brain hopefully will remember that it's F sharp the rest of that line. Let's try the third line again. Set up your F natural, check your spacing. Remember, it's a half a step away from the E. Here we are at 9, or third line. 3 and 4 and. Here comes F sharp right here. Now I want you to go up to the second line, and I want you to look at the first note and try to figure out what that letter is. It's a C sharp. The reason I say sharp is because the sharp is in the key signature, so that makes the C a sharp. So it's our upper C sharp. For basses, you have to shift second finger for that one. And so here we are on measure 5. I'm going to demonstrate so you understand how fast the notes go. So the quarter note C sharps are really quite long. Think of using a lot of bow to help you with your speed. Here we are at measure 5. 3, 4. So it does the same set of notes and rhythms twice in a row. One more time at 5. Set up your C sharp. 3, 4. Long notes. Basses have to play the C sharp twice and then shift down to the B. Let's try just the first set of notes at 5. So just one measure. So it'll be a long bow, and then we go down to the B. Basses will have to shift. 3, 4. bass. Okay, so it's a really quick shift, and then our bow all of a sudden speeds up. Let's try that again. 3, 4. Shift bass. Now look at the last 2 measures of 5, the line with 5 or second line. So it's C sharp, B, A, D, D, D. I said those letters rather slowly because that's how fast our bow would have to move, or how slow our bow would have to move. Let's try them now. Last 2 measures of second line. Set up your C sharp, 3, 4. Have you ever tried to pull a friend up off the couch and they're being stubborn and you have to do all the work and really pull, pull, pull? That's what I want you to think about. Think about with our quarter notes here. And that might help you keep them at the correct speed and not go too fast. Now we're going to put the whole second line together. Set up your C sharp, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Long bow here, long, long. Bow lift. And then it's time to set up that F natural and that D. So let's put the second and the third line together. Don't worry if you're not perfect. I just want to see what is possible for you and help you realize where you need to practice. So here we are in the second line. Set up the C sharp, 3, 4. Long bow. Long bow still. Bow lift, F naturals. Stretch to F sharp. Now go practice to make sure you're really comfortable with the second and the third lines of Jazz in D. If that feels pretty good already and you want to explore more of the song, go ahead. I have no trouble if you want to explore more.